Being a dragon's son in Serbian mythology signifies that a person is among the highest ranked heroes, a representative of solar divinity. Incarnation of such heroes shows the ways of interaction between dragons and humans. The dragon is a well-known mythological phenomenon, widespread from Western Europe to the Far East. Most often it is the enemy of humans, a destructive chthonic being that dwells in caves and underworld, killing people and livestock, and thus must be subdued and slain. Departure of Serbian dragon, with some exceptions, lays in a protective attitude towards people, luminous beings, often seductive to humans. It is also considered a great misfortune in folklore if someone kills a dragon, in contrast to the world tales of heroic dragon slaying. The word for dragon in Serbian, zmaj, was etymologically derived from the word for snake, zmija. The snake was often described as a base of dragon beings, a snake with pair of eagle wings. Tradition considered every snake which turns 100 years old becomes a dragon or a snake emperor. In tradition was also known the snake that was not seen in 9 years becomes a dragon. 9 is a mythological number representing transformation from vivid to unseeable realms of reality. Apart from their sometimes comparisons with meteorite or snake shapes, they would also transform into humans. The need of dragon to take human shape was described in many Serbian epic poems. Miloš Obilić, the Dragon's Son, is a folk epic poem that connects historical figures of the medieval Serbian kingdom with very old motifs from Serbian mythology. Miloš is a historical figure about whom there are few historical records. In Serbian oral tradition, he took on the role of the only man who ever killed a sultan on the battlefield. Sultan Murad was indeed killed by the Serbian knight at the Battle of Kosovo in 1389. In the mythological layer of Serbian epic poetry, Miloš is a representative of the solar deity, or one of the gods of the Slavic pantheon. These mythological elements are vividly depicted in the mentioned epic poem. On his journey, unexpectedly, he encounters the mountain fairy Angelia. She would take the lead of narration in this song. The mountain fairy reveals to the Miloš the story of the past, finding Miloš as an abandoned child in the mountains and breastfeeding him. The main hero takes the opportunity to discover more about his origins, not knowing who his parents are. Revealing to us his parents are shepherdess and the dragon from clouds, mountain fairy continues the story. Shepherdess takes her sheep to the mountains. On white tissue, she embroids golden branches, which gets attention from dragon in clouds. Falling asleep while embroidering, in her mind appears a branch of the black poplar. Noticing this symbol, dragon flies down the mountains where he seduces the shepherdess. After their intercourse, on the way back to the skies, he tells her to not fear their act. If she gets pregnant, the female child could only be a mountain fairy, but if male, he would be a supernatural hero. Interesting moment is appearance of black poplar branch in shepherdess' mind. This was a signal for dragon to approach and seduce her. To better understand this symbol, we should look into the another folklore epic poem, Birth of Dušan. This song is referencing the Emperor Dušan, biggest Serbian medieval ruler. Epic poem starts with a dream of the queen. She sees how from her alive chest grows a golden branch of black poplar. Branch grows to the skies, spreading so much it can cover the whole land of Bosnia. Flowers surround her, flying towards a large flower at the top of the branches, spreading scents among the smaller flowers. The queen wakes up unrestful and goes to the king seeking an explanation. The king analyzes the dream for the benefit of his kingdom and the queen's role. The golden black poplar branch signifies that she will bear the greatest hero. The spread of branches represent the expansion of the kingdom's borders, and the flower at the top is the imperial crown of her son. However, if we closely examine the queen's dream, we see a beautiful depiction of female fantasy and rapture. Going back to a shepherdess embroidering golden branches on a tissue, we see an identical motif. In her mind appears the branch of black poplar, which king gives useful explanation. Shepherdess is ready to conceive the biggest hero of Serbian history, Miloš Obilić. One important quote said by a mountain fairy in a poem should be noted. Wherever there is a Serbian hero, each one fairies were breastfeeding, most of them dragons birthed. Dragons in many poems and stories are known as seductive, lustful beings. As mentioned, this often leads them to assume human role. In parts of eastern Serbia, folklore considered preference of male dragons were virgins and for female dragons, most beautiful unmarried males. In one such story from Homolje Mountains, the dragon girl in Nenad, the female dragon seduces the handsome Nenad. She starts to appear in his room every night, making love to him. The irresistible beauty lights up the entire room with her ardent body. Their encounters exhaust young Nenad, making him pale and sunken. Folklore holds that droughts in a village are caused by romantic relationships with dragons. People would track whom the dragon visited, and the community would unite to drive the dragon away, often by banging metal objects and making noise or performing certain herbal rituals. In the folktale, Nenad, on the brink of exhaustion, finds a medical herbal potion from an old woman, which he spreads around his window frames. This prevents the dragon girl from entering, and she comes under the window screaming her love for him. After several attempts, the dragon girl gives up and leaves, where she bursts into ashes from love pain. This love encounter leaves lasting consequences on Nenad. There are also examples in folklore where many young people died from frequent relationships with dragons, and thus dragons claimed them in the heavens for eternity. Unusual relationship of people towards dragons in Serbian mythology can indicate unusual appearance of these beings. Visual representation of early times are unknown, but their features are described in literature works. Returning to the epic poem Miloš Obilić, the Dragon's Son, we find more symbols of Asian mythology. After revealing his origin, mountain fairy Angelia comforts Miloš by listing a specific group of Serbian heroes, the Dragon Sons. She reassures him that he is not the only one with such marks that he wisely hides, such as a mole on his right bicep from which wolf fur emerges, and a mark on his chest in the shape of a saber. One of the knights in the list of fairies mentions is the hero in mythology known by the name Ardent Dragon Wolf. In another folklore epic poem, his appearance as a child gets described as: "He is not like other kids are, wolf paw and eagle wing, and dragon circuit under armpit. From a mouth bruised flames burn, mother can't breastfeed him." Here we are already on the visual trail of the Serbian dragon. In the world-known mythology, beings with features of animal beast body or paws, wings of big birds, snake tail, but can also have humans' characteristics, are generally known as sphinx. This would be my personal association, analyzing motifs of Serbian epic poems. Sphinx also has much older origins than reptilian medieval dragon we all know today, but in epic poems it's always specific mentions of wolf-like and eagle-like characteristics. As in Serbian tradition, it is considered these two animals represent the oldest spirits of ancestors. In genealogy of Serbs to this day, the furthest male ancestor is called White Eagle. Also important to mention is their ardent appearance, often described in their seductive rapture. They take a human form by simply stripping away ardent cloths. It is used to describe dragons as beings of light. In the center of Serbian domestic life is hearth, in folklore nicknamed Dragon's Nest, representing the main altar of household. In the 14th century, the Ottomans begin their attack on the Balkans with the aim of conquering the entire region. The most significant Christian rulers of the Balkan united to halt this catastrophe. In response, they formed the Order of the Dragon, and the dragon itself can be seen on their heraldry. The dragon was also added to the coat of arms of the ruling dynasty of King Stefan Lazarević. King Stefan was the most notable military leader and monarch of the Serbian medieval resistance against the Ottomans and was himself a member of the Order of the Dragon. Interestingly, Vlad Dracula was also a member of the Order of the Dragon, which is where his nickname Dracul comes from. In mythology, Stefan is referred to as the son of the dragon due to his remarkable physical stature, military and intellectual abilities, and also because of the mythological poems in which the historical figure of his mother, Princess Milica, captivates the dragon. Thus, exceptionally old elements of Slavic religion can always be found in Serbian epic poems, which adopted medieval Christian motifs and have survived in this form to this day. Today, in Serbian reasoning about mythology, dragons have lost their significance. Fortunately, the mountain fairy Angelia warned us about this state a long time ago. Easy will be for Serbs to rule while they have dragons in the mountains. But when the latter times come, when disbelief surpasses the faith, and disbelief in dragon comes, then for Serbs, rulership is gone.